This divine grace is given from ISKCON Mysore Acharya is saving the whole world. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari ISKCON Mysore Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Janudiraye Nashtakayeshu Madreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhavati Tamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 20, Balimara Sons of the Universe, text number 5. Naham Videmi Nirayan Naham Videmi Nirayan Naham Videmi Nirayan Nadanyat Sukharnava Nadanyat Sukharnava Nadanyat Sukharnava Nam Translation by Divine Grace Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Swami. I do not fear hell, poverty, and ocean of distresses, fall down from my position, or even death itself, as much as I fear cheating a Brahmana. Please repeat this translation. I do not fear hell, poverty, and ocean of distresses, fall down from my position, or even death itself, as much as I fear cheating a Brahmana. Text number 6. And read the verse. Yad bhasyati lokesmin samparetam dhanadikam tasyatyage nittam kim viprastushena tena chet. Translation. My Lord, you can also see that all the material opulences of this world are certainly separated from their possessor at death. Therefore, if the Brahmana Vamandev is not satisfied with whatever gifts one has given, why not please him with the riches one is destined to lose at death? The word VIPRA means Brahmana, and at the same time, the word VIPRA means confidential. Bali Maharaj had confidentially decided to give the gift to Lord Vamandev without discussion. But because such a decision would hurt the hearts of the Asuras and the spiritual master Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, he spoke equivocally. Bali Maharaj, as a pure devotee, had already decided to give all the land to Lord Vishnu. Thus ends Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Om Jnana-Timirānasya Jnana-Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu-Padaya Krishna-Preshaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Devatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya verses spoken by Bali Maharaj. The background is that Vamandev is Vishnu himself, who has come disguised as a small brahmachari, young brahmachari, dwarf. And Vishnu has come on behalf of the devotees led by Indra in order to take away everything from Bali Maharaj and give it to Indra. So Vishnu has decided, Lord Vishnu has decided to take it away by a trick. In plain words, by cheating. So, he disguised himself as a brahmachari and went at a time when Bali Maharaj was performing sacrifice. So, brahmachari has gone and yajna is going on. And Vishnu also displayed for a brief time his Brahman effulgence. Brahman effulgence is the effulgence of the personality of Godhead, the Supreme Lord. So when they just saw the effulgence, all the assembled brahmanas, all the assembled people in that sacrifice, including Bali Maharaj, they were completely bewildered. Who is this brahmachari? His bodily effulgence is so bright that he has performed a lot of tapasya. He's some exalted personality. We don't know who he is. So everyone except Shukracharya just saw him as a very brilliant brahmachari. Shukracharya would recognize that this brahmachari is Vishnu because he displayed the Brahman effulgence. Immediately Shukracharya knew. And Shukracharya, he told this to Bali Maharaj, that this Vishnu has come on behalf of our enemies, the devatas, and he has come to take away all your possessions. Even though Bali Maharaj had offered some gift in charity to the brahmachari who asked only 3 steps of time, measured by buying food. So Bali Maharaj agreed, and then Shukracharya objected. And Shukracharya, speaking from the scriptures, the previous chapter the description is there, quoting the Shastras, Shukracharya explained to Bali that even if you have made a promise, you can go back on your promise and refuse to give to this brahmachari who is trying to cheat you and take away everything that you have. But in response to this advice given by Shukracharya, Bali Maharaj is now replying to Shukracharya that I I don't want to cheat this Brahmana. I don't want to cheat this Brahmana. Because it's worse than any sin by which I may go to hell, or I may put in an ocean of distresses, or I may fall down from my position, or even death itself. He says, I do not fear any of these as much as I fear cheating of the Brahmana. That means cheating the Brahmana is very, 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 very sinful. The Shukracharya is justifying going back on the promise is not sinful according to some Shastra that is quoting. But Bali Maharaj, as a pure devotee, he is refusing to take the advice of Shukracharya. Now, this is a very important instruction for all of us, that even if somebody is well versed in the scriptures, applying the scriptural injunctions requires expert guidance, and whose guidance is the best? It is the guidance of a pure devotee of Krishna, who actually has understood the essence of all scriptural injunctions. What is the essence of all scriptural injunctions? It is simply to surrender to Krishna. All scriptural injunctions are meant for leading us to the point of surrender to Krishna. And if there is some obstacle for surrender, then the scriptures say, and Bhagavad Gita says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. You surrender even without considering any religious principles, any scriptural injunctions, any code of conduct given in the Dharma Shastras. All that you can completely reject or ignore or give up and surrender. So, when Krishna tells Sarva Dharman Parityajya, and Krishna himself has told in the 4th chapter, Dharma Samsthapanarthaya Sambhavami, says, I incarnate to re-establish religious principles. So when he comes to re-establish religious principles, and he is teaching us religious principles by speaking Bhagavad Gita, why would he say Sarva Dharman Parityajya at the end? So Krishna is not telling give up all religious principles. Krishna has come to establish religious principles. He wants us to follow religious principles. But he wants us to understand that all religious principles are meant for bringing us to the point of surrender to Krishna. By following the religious principles, you should surrender to Krishna. But if there is some difficulty, some obstacle, some particular injunction coming in the way, then for the sake of surrender, you ignore that particular injunction or obstacle which is coming in the way. You don't care for any of those things. You simply surrender, that's all. And Krishna says, the consequence of surrender, by ignoring some or transgressing some religious principles, if there is some sin, according to laws of karma or laws of nature, aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. He says, I will nullify all those sinful reactions completely. Sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. Ma shuchaha, do not fear, do not worry. You simply surrender. So, actually none of the religious injunctions are against surrender. None of them are against surrender. But sometimes people don't properly understand the scriptural injunctions. What are the purpose of scriptural injunctions? The Shastras. Whatever is told in the Shastras. They don't understand properly this Shastra. So here, Shukracharya is an example of somebody who has studied the Shastra but doesn't know the ultimate goal of all Shastra is to surrender to the Supreme Lord Vishnu. That he does not know. He has not understood that. And Bali Maharaj is thinking, this Shukracharya is so learned and he is advising me against surrender to Vishnu. So I am not going to obey him. I am not going to follow him. So, in order to refuse to follow or obey Shukracharya, he is not directly refusing. He is speaking in a nice way. So, he is giving his reasons why he wants to give that dana to this brahmachari. He's telling, I don't want to cheat a brahmana. And he also gives a very good reason why he wants to give this charity, even if it means giving away everything he possesses. Because he's telling, you can also see that all the material opulences of this world are certainly separated from their possessor at death. This is the reality of whatever wealth we may have. We cannot have it permanently because the wealth that we possess in this world is connected to this body. If I have anything in my possession, it is connected with my body. Because the wealth also, which is connected to the body, is material wealth. Material wealth is connected with the material body. If you have any spiritual opulence or spiritual wealth, that is connected with your soul, spirit soul. So Shastras say, less intelligent people, without realizing I am not the body, and the body is temporary, they try to accumulate material wealth. But what they do not realize is this material wealth is not going to last. Because the body itself is temporary. So when we leave the body, we have to leave behind all our material wealth. We cannot take it with us. But spiritual opulence, spiritual wealth is yours permanently. It will never be lost, no matter what happens in the future. Never be lost. It is always belonging to you as spirit soul. It's your permanent asset. Krishna explains this in the Bhagavad Gita. Neha bhikramanashosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Speaking about Krishna consciousness or bhakti, Krishna is telling, by bhakti you can get this spiritual wealth,
spiritual opulence, spiritual advancement. And that is permanently yours. Never it is going to be lost. Never it is going to be reduced. Never it is going to be diminished at any time. So, Bali Maharaj as a pure devotee knows this, that I may be the proprietor of the 3 planetary systems, and today I am the controller or the enjoyer or the Lord or the master of these 3 planetary systems. I have conquered by challenging the devatas, even the heavenly planets. But how long can I have it? Only till I am in this body. I got to die one day. So, since anyway all that I have is going to be lost at the time of death, therefore, if the Brahmana Vamandev is not satisfied by whatever gifts one has given, because Bali Maharaj, before agreeing to give 3 steps of land, he told this brahmachari boy, because he was a small boy, you are a small boy, you don't have experience. What will you do with 3 steps of land measured according to your footprint? As a small brahmachari boy, what will you do with that land? You ask something else. So the brahmachari is very intelligent. He did not say that I want something else or I don't want something else. He said that one should learn to be satisfied with whatever minimum possessions one can live with. If one is not satisfied with the bare minimum necessities, then one may desire to have more. And how much more can be sufficient, can be enough? So, Vamandev gave a very important instruction for all of us while speaking to Bali Maharaj. He said, if I am not satisfied with 3 steps of land, I may desire an entire province. Then when I get that province, I may or may not get it, but if I get it, then I'll think, oh, this province is just this much. I want a whole country. Then, even if I get a whole country, then I may desire the entire earth planet. Even if I become the emperor of this earth planet, I may desire the heavenly planets. Even if I become the ruler of the heavenly planets, I may desire the post of Brahma, the Lord of the universe. And even that cannot satisfy a person who is greedy. So greed can never be satisfied with any amount of wealth or any amount of possessions. Therefore, better learn to be satisfied with whatever minimum necessities you require. So Bali Maharaj appreciated, yes, what you are speaking is perfectly right. He said, what you are speaking is perfectly right. So as you please, if you want just 3 steps of land, I'll give you. So he offered that. Then Shukracharya put this obstacle, that don't give him, he's come to cheat you, he is Vishnu. Now Bali Maharaj is telling, if Vishnu himself has come, by giving away to Vishnu, what is the loss? Anyway, I am going to lose whatever I have at the time of death. Before death comes, if I at least give charity, then I will be the greatest gainer. That which you are not going to have permanently, if you give away in charity, before you lose it. Because after you lose it, what charity you can give? It's not yours anymore. You can't give charity. So before you lose it, give charity. That's why formerly people used to, whatever wealth they have, they will give some portion of that to their children or to some needy persons. In fact, throughout their life, they'll be giving such small charities, whatever charities. But they end, whatever remains, they will give it away to Krishna for eternal benefit for themselves and for their dependents, for their country, for their humanity, for everyone it is beneficial. That's why Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, Yat karoshi yadashnasi yajjuhoshi dadasi yat yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. Krishna says, whatever you want to give in charity, give it to me. Why does Krishna say that? Because Krishna is not in need of any charity. Krishna is not in need. But Krishna is telling, give it to me, because by giving to Krishna, that is going to benefit not only the person who gives the charity, but to the entire creation. Because when Krishna is satisfied or Krishna is pleased, everyone is pleased. Everyone is satisfied. You see? It is just like if you water the root of a tree, all the different parts of the tree are nourished. Or you feed the stomach, all the parts of the body are completely nourished. That's the arrangement, no? In this body or in the tree. That is the arrangement, correct? Similarly, if you satisfy or please Vishnu, then everyone becomes satisfied. Everyone becomes pleased. Yasmin tushte jagat tushtihi. This is the Vedic injunction. By pleasing one person, you can please the entire creation, the whole creation. And that one person is the Supreme Lord Vishnu. So that Vishnu, if I am going to give in charity, what is the wrong? Where is the fault? This is what Bali Maharaj is telling Shukracharya. So Prabhupada explains in the purport that the word VIPRA means Brahmana, also means something confidential. Because Bali Maharaj is a pure devotee. Though he is born in an Asura family, but he is a pure devotee. Whatever body they may have, whatever type of body they may have, whatever family they may appear, whatever activities they may do, within their heart they are simply interested in devotional service to please Vishnu. So he had confidentially decided to give the gift to Vaman Dev without any discussion. But because if he simply gave away, it would look like he is not acting in the interest of the Asuras. He is disobeying Shukracharya, the advisor to the king, to Bali Maharaj. So therefore, he spoke in such a way that he was justifying. My decision is not actually against everyone's self-interest. So Prabhupada says that Bali Maharaj, as a pure devotee, had already decided to give all the land to Lord Vishnu. Also, the scriptures say, everything belongs to Vishnu. Ishavasyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat. Nothing belongs to us. Everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. So, it's actually not giving, but actually becoming free from the sin of falsely claiming something is mine. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, if people don't offer their possessions in sacrifice to Vishnu, they become thieves. Yo bhungte stena eva saha. One who enjoys whatever are the gifts given by the Supreme Lord through material nature even, without offering that in sacrifice to Vishnu, then such a person is actually a thief, and he is punishable. He is punishable. Thieves are punishable. So, don't be a thief. That's what Krishna says in the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Offer whatever you have in sacrifice to Vishnu. That is also the spirit of surrender to Krishna. Offer and sacrifice whatever you have. Pranair arthair dhiya vacha. The most valuable possession anyone may have is their own life, prana. So first of all, Krishna says, you offer or you sacrifice your life to Krishna. If you can't sacrifice your life, then Krishna says, pranair arthai. Artha means your wealth. Sacrifice your wealth to Krishna. If you can't sacrifice your wealth even, dhiya, you sacrifice your intelligence. How do you sacrifice your life? By dedicating your life for serving Krishna, Krishna's mission, Krishna consciousness movement. So if you can't sacrifice your life for that Krishna consciousness movement or Krishna's mission in this world, then you sacrifice your wealth. If you can't sacrifice your wealth, then you sacrifice your intelligence. How do you sacrifice your intelligence? You use your intelligence for the mission of the Supreme Lord, for Krishna consciousness movement. You use your intelligence in helping to spread Krishna consciousness. Use your intelligence to yourself practice Krishna consciousness and to also spread Krishna consciousness. So that is how you use your intelligence. Somebody may say, I am not so intelligent. I don't have much intelligence. Then Krishna says, vacha, your words. Finally he says, your words, your speaking ability. Everybody has got speaking ability. Even the most foolish person can speak. But he'll speak normally something foolish. Krishna says, don't speak some foolish things. Even if you are a fool, chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Use your words to glorify Krishna. Use your words to speak about Krishna, to tell others about Krishna. At least you can tell people, please chant Hare Krishna. Even if you are not so much knowledgeable about Krishna, you can just tell people, please chant Hare Krishna. You can also chant Hare Krishna and tell others to chant Hare Krishna. This way, you can serve Krishna regardless of what your position is, who you are. You see? So, this is the lesson to be learned from this particular episode of Bali Maharaj. surrendering the whole universe of which he was the Lord or Master, by having conquered the universe, by defeating the devatas. And he surrenders that to the Supreme Lord Vishnu. And then he becomes glorified. Bali Maharaj became so glorified, that will be described, that after Lord Vishnu took away the entire universe, then Bali Maharaj surrendered himself. He surrendered himself. Atma Nivedana. So Bali Maharaj is actually Mahajana, the greatest authority in teaching us the principles of bhakti by his surrender. He surrendered the universe and he surrendered himself also. He surrendered the universe and surrendered himself also. So he is teaching by his example. He is Mahajana. And so we should follow in his footsteps and try to surrender our possessions and surrender ourselves both to the service of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So I'll stop here. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai.